Hello everyone, welcome to today's presentation. We will be talking about food temptations, and the first part will concern fats and lipids. It will be followed by cooking online, which will happen tomorrow, but I will get back to it within the presentation. So if I can just move with another slide. I think fats are the most misunderstood micronutrition elements of the diet, and very often they are taken as those bad guys that do only harm for the body, which is actually not true. There is a category of so-called good fat, and in my presentation today, I will try to balance both the qualities of fats, but also the dangers which comes from eating bad quality of food or bad fat having in diet. So there is a theory which is now being promoted that it's not good to go with low-fat diet. Fat is necessary and beneficial for health, and those studies were run by Harvard University, among others. If you see here, the role of fats is very big. So first of all, fats are nutrients, and with this, basically, it makes them one of three the most important elements of our diets. So lipids, carbohydrates, and proteins, those are those elements. Then, as you can see, they can also create something like cushion for body organs, so they are not getting hurt or bleed. Then they help us maintain the same sweet 36 and 6 degrees temperature. They also help with vitamins which are soluble in fats, A, D, E, and K. And then from nutritionist point of view, they improve the food, basically. They give the taste, and they help us satisfy the hunger, so we don't feel hungry in the long term. On the left side, I put here a spectrum which is applicable for coffee, but I just wanted to show you how much you can feel or taste in different kind of coffees, and what is the relation between coffee and fat. I will tell you a bit later. So as said before, coffee helps to satisfy with diet, and as you can see here, it's the most caloric of all of the products, and it has over 9 calories per gram. In comparison, proteins or carbs have only 4, and I will explain also why is that. But those relations I was telling you about, so coffee and fats, it's here. I don't know if you are aware of bulletproof coffee, but it's coffee which is also strengthened by the by oils which are added to it, and as the keto diet motto sounds, it's about feel satisfied, alert, and focused. So if you want to try how fats as fuel work, you can go for it and make yourself a bulletproof coffee in the morning and see how it works for you. I heard a lot of opinions that people using it basically feel very energized. I tried it maybe once, but in my opinion, I prefer just a regular coffee. Okay. So going back to energetic approach, as you can see here, I've chosen this kind of comparison about how different elements are being digested and absorbed. So from what you see, the yellow arrow goes straight down to your digestive system, meaning that very little of lipids are being digested in your mouth. Basically, most of it happens because there are enzymes like lipids or bile salts involved, and that helps break down lipids, and thanks to it, they're basically combined with proteins, and as a form of lipoproteins, they are being carried around the body. So, as for the definition, you can divide lipids into fats and oils. Fats are solids, oils are liquid, most of the times. It can vary, but that's the main definition. And from the human body point of view, there are 3 groups which are the most important, and those are, as written here, triglycerides, phospholipids, and cholesterol. And I put there this beautiful image to show you what are the basic possibilities, what lipid droplets can do. And I'm not going into details. Just I wanted to show you how many options with interaction in our body on a cell level can happen when lipids are transmitted to our cells. So as the first of 3 here mentioned, triglycerides in diet, I think those are the most commonly mentioned. So this is all of the words which are related put here on this word cloud. But they are also the main type of fat which we can meet in our body system. And by that, I mean they provide us energy, so they are like a fuel, but they are also stored whenever we overeat and we have too many of fat in our body. Here is one important note. There is a recommendation to check the level of triglycerides and supposed to be below 150 milligrams per deciliter, which means everyone who has a number above should contact the doctor and should check what kind of changes or in nutrition or any medicaments should be maybe also included. The way how to reduce in a more friendly and not medical way, I put it here. And as you can see, most of them are basically, I would say, the same as for healthy diet. So eating whole fruits and vegetables, eating good types of fats, reduce this intake of refined food, which is very often combined with trans fats. And then there are some interesting also information here, which should be taken into consideration that, for example, birth control can increase the level of triglycerides, meaning that you should control the level of triglycerides from time to time, and also gum problems can cause also this increase of the level of triglycerides. I don't have to mention that physical activity and enough of sleep are like the basics for our well-being. And what else can we do? Here are, for example, 3 products which we can easily find when we go to the shop, and we can combine them. Maybe the salad is not with cinnamon, but for sure it has avocados and artichokes. So as you can see, they can really prevent from going high with the level of triglycerides. And I put here only 3 of the ABC group, but what is worth to know that the same good qualities has green tea or black tea, fishes, garlic, nuts, almonds. So basically this kind of products which has good fats, and I will show you the list also in a moment. Another group of important fats in human body is phospholipids, and here basically they are not problematic, or maybe not so much problematic in comparison with 2 others. And the most important role of them is that they create cell membranes. And as you can see here, there is those phospholipids are made out of 2 parts. So there's a hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail. And the hydrophilic head is basically the outside of the membranes, and hydrophobic tail are stick together and they create the inner part of the membrane. And what is interesting, phospholipids can be found also in cosmetics because they have such qualities as emulsifiers. So they can be used, for example, to as a makeup remover. And natural food sources are here listed, so egg yolks, liver, soybeans, and peanuts. What concerns cholesterol, I try not to overdose the knowledge, but at the same time, I think cholesterol is being very widely discussed and very often cause a problem. So it's not like the whole cholesterol is bad. The bad cholesterol is from too much intake of bad fats and carbohydrates in your diet. And like 75% of the cholesterol is produced in your liver, meaning that you can be mostly self-sufficient with this sterol. And as you can see here, it's also really important to maintain the body balance, because it's a part of steroid hormones, of vitamin D, which is very important, of bile acids, meaning those are those acids which help to decompose fats in your body. So it's like creating a beautiful harmony of being created and then being broken down and used by the body. And an important note here is that high cholesterol doesn't show any symptoms, meaning that everyone should remember and check yourself regularly, especially if you have some history of cholesterol problems in the family. As you can see, there are different types of cholesterol. Here are listed two mainly noted as or the most famous, so HDL and LDL. There is this HDL, a good type of cholesterol, which fights LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, which LDL can build up in arteries, and because of that, it narrows the veins, and so the blood cannot stream as normal, and it can cause heart problems and other health problems. And so to remember here, the total cholesterol, and as you can see, it's HDL, LDL, and some part of triglycerides should be below 200. That's the level which is recommended for the healthy diet and for the healthy body. Everything above is already risky and should be also conducted by the doctor help. Okay, so now is the fun part. The good fats and the bad fats. Let's say that the good fats, which I put here in the small picture, those are those unsaturated, meaning they can be like monosaturated or polysaturated. And when we talk about monounsaturated, we think about those which have only one unsaturated chain. With polyunsaturated, they have 2, 3, 4, or 5, depending on their construction. And most of them, they have vegetable origin. As for bad fats, the most famous are those trans fats, and basically they are bad fats for a reason, because even small quantities of those can increase health problems, and they are being basically made by human being. It's like very small amount of trans fats are naturally to be found in the nature. So those products which are being baked or fried or somehow technological changed by human, I mean margarines, they can contain trans fats. And the last category, it's saturated fats, and I would say this is, in comparison with two others, it's like meh. It can be, it doesn't have a good quality of the same as unsaturated fats, but on the other hand, it's not so problematic as bad fats. And here the rule is that they should be consumed in moderation, so not very often. To show you more closely, I collected here two pictures. One is showing the good kind of fats, and the other one shows bad fats. And my only note here is that I wouldn't trust peanut butter in 100%, because sometimes there can be added a palm oil. So there you should always check if there is any addition to it, or is it just a clean, nice peanut butter. And one maybe side note, because here is a lot of explanation that the structure of saturated and unsaturated fats is different. So, for example, saturated create irregular shapes and they clump together, so they have a solid structure, and they also can cause some problems with arteries, while this unsaturated is simply healthy and not causing any kind of problems. From nutrition point of view, saturated fats are derived from animal sources mostly, I wanted just to say that moderation is the most important rule, but also if you think about saturated fats, it's not always like they cause health problems, because, for example, milk products like cheeses, they have a lot of good elements in them, and they should be part of a regular diet, even though one of the ingredients is saturated fat. Okay, and here it's a very serious information about how trans fat can cause problems with your health. So the tip how to change it is to reduce the amount of the trans fat and try to switch it to saturated, or even better, unsaturated fats. What shows basically how bad those fats are is this graph on the right side, showing that basically trans fat should be 1% or less of a daily intake, meaning of the whole diet of everything you eat, 1%, those supposed to be trans fats. Especially when you, for example, have a big BMI, so when you have if you're overweight, then in that case it is especially important that you take care of reducing trans fat. And going straight to the cravings, so why we have those food temptations and why we sometimes feel like we want this pizza so much. So basically, try not to beat up yourself because you have those. It's like your body is telling you something. Try to understand what are the signals and why this reaction happens. Maybe it's like it's about fat, not a special type of fat, but fat in general, because as a macronutrient it is necessary, as I said before, on the same level as carbs and proteins to deliver fats to the body. So in that terms, you can, for example, switch from I don't know, chips to avocado, and maybe the result can be similar. Just think and what can work for you the best. Also, not directly fats can be the calling. Maybe there are some elements which are closely related to fat absorption. So, for example, there is a deficiency of vitamins in your diet, and you should check it. Or maybe your diet is not well planned, so you get hungry and you don't eat, for example, like 4 portions a day, but you wait until you're super hungry and then basically you just have to eat a lot. Also, this is a tricky thing, and I said it also before, that fatty food basically tastes good because fats transmit the taste, so it also make it more visible, understandable for your body, and that's the another thing. And one more thing can be also that there is a signal of dehydration. So instead of going for something unhealthy, try to drink a glass of water and see how it goes. I listed here also more of a mental issues related to craving, because sometimes we eat because we don't want to feel anxious or upset or angry, and that helps us deal with that, especially because in fatty food there is a tryptophan which is changed to serotonin, which is this mood control and happiness transmitter. So this is like a longer process, but your body can learn that after fat food you get this kind of reaction and you feel satisfied. So if you're in this group of people, try to learn what is your pattern and why are you first craving, and then after you eat fatty food, how your body feels, and if it's a habit, try to think how you can change it, because it's just not healthy, not only for your body in the physical way, but also for your mental health. And when we are talking about lipids and health, basically overconsumption and overeating of lipids can cause a weight gain, and as you can see, there are many types. But this obesity can then create much greater and much more serious health problems, which is a heart disease, and can basically create some serious problems. Then there is this metabolic syndrome, and it's a combination of obesity, high blood glucose, low HDL and high LDL cholesterol, and high blood pressure. And this can also create heart disease, stroke, and diabetes, for example. So, to sum it up, what are the best oils to cook on? Olive oil is the first choice, and about this, I just wanted to say that extra virgin is something that should be also taken into consideration, as it's not refined, and it's very healthy because it has a lot of unsaturated and some polyunsaturated fatty acids. And what is even more interesting, tomorrow we will have a cooking class about it, and we will have a really great explanation why it's the best oil to prepare meals on. Then there is canola oil, which is from rapeseed, and in our geographic area is one of the most popular. It is very safe, and it has a high smoke point, which means it can be used for different kind of high heat cooking. And two more options. There is avocado oil, which is super nice and tasty and healthy. It has also this high smoking point and good ingredients. However, here the problem may be the price. And the last one, the sunflower oil, which is super rich in vitamin E. Here you should be careful because it contains a lot of omega-6 fatty acids, and they are considered as pro-inflammatory, while they are not balanced with omega-3 acids. So this one is like also should be in moderation. And to sum up, how to change your habits, how to reduce fat intake with the everyday products, which you can do in a smart way. This is only a short list, but for example, you can remove plain milk from your diet and use yogurt or kefir. Instead of fried chicken, you can bake chicken. And then if you don't want to remove apples from your diet, you can bake them and add some dried fruits, and it's also super nice. Okay, thank you very much for today's presentation. If you have any question, then feel free to ask them now or write to me at my email here, or you can hit me with the message on Facebook. Thank you very much. I'm stop sharing. How do I do that? Okay.